here we are at the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. And the theme for this month is living as compassionate conduits. Living as compassionate conduits. And today's talk is divine authority to choose. Ah, yes, choice. So how does life get to be the way it is? Through the decisions and choices we make every day in every moment. And I'm speaking directly to our new Practitioner 1 class, because this is what we're working with right now in Practitioner 1. This is a perfect time for this talk. So one of my favorite bands, Rush, in their song Free Will, wrote, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. If you get a chance, look up that song Free Will by Rush. It's a good one. So sometimes people ask, how do I know if it's God's will or if it's my will? But if we truly believe that God is all that is, and that everything is God, then your will is God's will also. But it is only ours when we act the part. See, you can act foolishly and call it God's will, but that's not how it works. We are all divinely guided. We need to learn to tap ourselves into our higher selves. You know, often people speak of God's will as if it's an old anthropomorphic deity is still the one guiding and choosing for us, leading us and monitoring our every move up on some cloud somewhere with a clipboard, you know, keeping account of every move we make, like, you're going to have to pay for that one, and oh, that was a bad move. When in truth, it is saying yes to each of our choices without any judgment. See, Spirit always says yes, always says yes. So when we say something or choose something, Spirit always says yes, even when it's a challenge. Spirit just knows how to say yes. And eventually, after we go through a process, we get to what it was meant to be for us. See, Spirit is so giving of itself to itself that it accepts the choice. We, as the incarnate beings of divinity, get to decide. That being said, does it not benefit us to always choose from a place of compassion, self-care, integrity, and goodness? See, how are we demonstrating our divinity? Do we even know that we're divine? That is the key. So in the decisions and choices we make every day, are we coming from a place of love or a place of fear? How can we turn every choice that we make into a win-win situation for everyone involved? And I know that that's not always possible, but we must search for that first. And when it is possible, look for the win-win for all involved. That's how we create a world that works for all, is by considering other people's feelings and thoughts. So, how does life get to be the way it is? Through the decisions and choices each one of us make every day and in every moment. See, choice is the essential point of power in each individual. By choosing how to think and what to do from wisdom and compassion, we actualize our potential more fully. We come from a place of the divine. but only when we act the part of being in divinity. By making the right decisions, we take our power back. See, there's no belief developed and no action to take without choice. As we begin this process to the level of conscious awakening, we direct our lives from our authentic, higher self. That's our place of power. Checking in with what would divinity do in this situation? What's the highest thought? Clear away your own feelings for a moment of what you desire and just let that divinity flow through you and give you an idea. Our power of choice is innate within us. We use it consciously or unconsciously. But I'll tell you this. A time comes in everyone's life where we make a change for the good forever. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here. If you found this teaching, you know this. See, there comes a point when, let's say, the murderer puts down the gun, puts down the knife, once and for all, and changes lifetimes of negative energy. When we finally decide to change something big in our life, let's say you quit smoking or drinking or whatever it is for you, some lifestyle change that you wanted to make. See, when we reclaim our power in a relationship situation with whatever we're having a relationship with, it changes lifetimes. It changes the energy of who and what we are. Let's say you quit a dead-end job that is just not getting you anywhere, and you're not expressing from your heart. These are what I call divinely guided choice points. You know, this can happen in the twinkling of an eye, instantaneously, or it can gradually shift over time as what's called a process. I didn't just wake up one morning and stop smoking. It was a choice I had to make constantly to become a non-smoker. It was something I had to keep affirming and telling myself over and over again, especially when the action of it had mesmerized me into a certain way of life. But I realized that it wasn't healthy for me. It was my body actually was refusing to breathe the cigarette smoke anymore. See, change is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Once again, change is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You know, when my dad told me that, I said, well, if you had what happened to you, you'd be suffering too. And he said, that's an option. And I had to think about that I was choosing to suffer for my art. Think about it. Every choice should be made from both wisdom and compassion. They are two wings of the same bird, two sides of the same coin. How can we make choices that engage both the wisdom of the divine and at the same time choose in a way that incorporates compassion? They go together. And you know, when things turn out the way you want them to and it's easy, they're supposed to happen. It doesn't mean you don't work for what you want. It just means that if you find yourself in a place of tension, the tension is giving you a signal that there may be a different way to go. That's what I found. We must cultivate these qualities within ourselves and learn to express them habitually and intentionally in the world. Just like we learned a bad habit, we have to unlearn it and learn a good one. What happens when we do this is something powerful in the brain. When the synapses were connected to negativity and we change our decision, they detach and reattach to positive. And all of a sudden, we have changed the neurostructure of our brain. And the very chemicals start releasing endorphins that are good, that are powerful, that are positive. Our goal here is to bring forth what is already within us, to awaken our true power, love, wisdom, and joy by focusing our minds on wise and compassionate choices to create a world that works for all. As we begin to recognize our spiritual identity, our true spiritual nature, we can cultivate within ourselves the awareness that our choices influence the whole, and at the same time, considering the whole with real compassion. The whole can also influence our choices. See, positivity begets positivity. That's what we're working for. We can come to the realization that our freedom and our enlightenment is connected to everyone else's. As they say, no man is an island. Everything is divinely connected. There is only one of us here having countless experiences all at the same time. Raymond Charles Barker wrote in The Power of Decision, all intelligence abides in your subconscious and awaits your call upon it. You may say you do not know what to do, but at the center of your mind is the clear decision that you should make. It is right there. Ernest Holmes in the Beverly Hills lecture wrote it like this: the moment you step out of the ordinary ranks, the moment you step out of the procession that moves endlessly down the aisle, you are in the spotlight of evolution. Your own choice has decided you, and you are no longer going to think as others do. And I found this from Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks. Complaining about anything holds you in the place of refusing to receive the things you've been asking for. Justifying about anything holds you in the place of refusing to let the very things that you've been asking for. Blaming someone else holds you in the place of refusing to let the things that you've been asking for. Feeling guilty, feeling angry, it doesn't matter what you call it. It is a refusal, not a conscious one. You're asking. You can't help but ask. The universe is yielding. It must yield. It's a big question, folks. Why aren't you letting it in? So our choice is to let in the divine. Or actually, I say, let it out of us. It's already there. But we must let our good come to us. So in conclusion, I'll ask you again, how does life get to be the way it is? Through the decisions and choices we make every day in every moment. If you don't like how something's going, look back at the decisions and choices you made and maybe make a pact to yourself that you're going to make different decisions and choices in the future, and that will redirect your life in a whole new positive realm. Let's commit to our growth, to loving ourselves enough to be our best selves, our higher selves, our God selves. Let's recognize our natural ability to choose from our divine nature within us and continue to use that power regardless of what conditions surround us. The universe always says yes. Yes, absolutely yes. So let's say yes to divinely guided choices and decide to choose from our divine nature over and over again. And so it is. Namaste. So it's time for our healing prayer. Let's follow our teaching and go within and remember who we are. So I invite you to bring to the forefront of your consciousness what you choose to believe the power of creation is to you, the power of choice is to you. Knowing that there is a power that's always on. It is animating us right now, breathing our body, beating our hearts. I speak my word for divine guidance, knowing that since each one of us is a divine emanation, we carry as part of who and what we are, the divine essence. Let us activate that essence in everything that we are choosing to be, do, and have right now. I speak a word for this election, knowing that there is peace and calm and divine right action in everything that happens. I speak a word for you in whatever you're walking through right now, whatever your situation is. I may not know what it is, but I know that God knows. And as we activate the divine guidance system within each one of us, something beautiful starts to happen. A connection is made. An idea comes to mind that heals. Something is happening right here and right now by means of each one of us that is making everything better and better. So I speak a word of prayer for anyone, anywhere who has ever asked for prayer, knowing that right here and right now, it is activated in a way that makes sense to them, that allows them to prosper, to heal, to reveal the truth that is theirs. So we claim that right here and right now with the sound of my voice. Absolutely, the universe says yes. Yes, yes, it is already so. So in that attitude of gratitude, grateful for this time spent in prayer, we just give great thanks for the harmony of the universe, for knowing that whatever you're walking through, there is a way through it. Just keep walking, knowing the truth, affirming love, and everything will turn into the gold that you choose it to be. So I release this word, placing these words directly into that living, loving law of mind where I know divine guidance resides. Calling it forward is already so. We affirm it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Well, again, thank you all for joining us this morning. It's time for our love offering. So if you'd like to find your donation button, wherever it is for you, or fill out your check and mail it in to us, we so appreciate all the gifts and tithes, especially during this time when we're not meeting physically. We still have a beautiful building that we need to keep prepared for us so that when it is time that we're ready to occupy that space. So we give great thanks for everyone who has given and everyone who will give. So let's imagine this by reciting our abundance offertory statement together, which says, abundance is my choice. and I share it with compassion and love. Once again, abundance is my choice, and I share it with compassion and love. Well, let's say a prayer for our offertory this morning. Let's imagine your offering in your hand and put your hand on your heart if you so choose. From the love of pure spiritual energy, these tithes and gifts have been collected. They are evidence of our faith, our belief, and our ability to manifest in this world of form. They do good works in the world. They bless the giver and receiver. They allow this center to be open and available, knowing that something wonderful is happening in the world, because Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living and all of its members and friends are open to receive and to give. So we give great thanks as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen.